beating our brains. Welcome to the Chromaniacs, your weekly look inside San Diego FC and MLS. I'm Craig Elston, joined as always by my Chromaniacs, Tony Sanchez and Alex Pena. Tony, what's going on?
Well, I think it's a lot of people's best day, or some few, worst day as a San Diego FC fan. Lozano, soon to be the kind of SDFC player. We'll talk about it. Transfer that will be for LA Galaxy, as they're not looking good against America currently. Not well at all. Alex.
Yeah, sometimes it's not your night, but hey, tonight it's National IPA Day, so I get to celebrate just like every other day. IPA, so I'm happy. I'm doing good. I'm in good spirits, and yeah, we get to talk a little soccer here, so I'm all good.
For one man, National IPA Day is just a day. It's every day. That's a wonderful day for you, my friend. Well, this is not a post-game show because we record mid-match on August 6th. Yes, we're cheeky in that way. It's episode 20 of our season 2 of coverage of the Chromaniacs because SDFC's performance in the opening match of Leagues Cup at Estadio Azteca against Club America is just a wipeout. So much so that I'm back here in the studio recording now. I can't even see the second half. 3-0 in the first half. 3-0 Brian Rodriguez, basically. He doesn't get all the goals. He gets some assists along the way, but they let him attack. Gave plenty of room. SDFC had some chances along the way. They were playing some punchy ball. But every single time for Rodriguez, it was conversion. So many turnovers in the back. Just a brutal reminder of what it looks like when the young SDFC, by young I mean franchise, not necessarily the players out on the pitch, because Jeppe Tverskov does not look young right now. A couple other guys don't look very young for San Diego, but this club is inexperienced, and as we saw at Toluca, as we saw tonight, guys, at America, as you wrote to us, Tony, in our group chat, there are levels, and this is a level below.
Yeah, no, it's one of these things where it's always kind of like that thought experiment of what happens if you put, this team against this team, and its current iterations, we're getting that right now. It seems like America wanted to come out and also showcase some of their players, and didn't go with a fully rotated squad. San Diego FC doesn't have a choice. They have to put 11 players out there, and I don't think you're confident with anybody who's outside of potentially 14 of those current players to get some actual minutes, but it doesn't matter because you're down 3-0, 60th minute. Honest Dryer just got subbed off. So I mean, if that's not a white flag being waved to America at Estadio Banorte, I don't know what is.
And it was actually Craig that kind of caught my attention with the lineup too. It was a back five, and I was like, oh, well, this is different, but it didn't really matter. I didn't even notice the field conditions until I turned on my TV and noticed it was raining. So I kind of figured, okay, back five actually kind of makes sense if you're trying to have a little bit, play a little bit more defensively and not try to get anybody really important hurt, because control of the ball was going to be a little tough. It's going to be a little slick. Passes aren't going to be as crisp. So getting that control that they like, getting that possession that they really like, it was going to be tough all game. And they just scored one.
Currently, they have one back. Luca Bombino has scored a goal, 3-1.
The comeback is on, as we
record
right now.
Is on.
But
we press on indeed.
Yeah, but yeah, it was just it was tough seeing like Dryer out there and Yepe out there, and it's like one wrong tackle, and these guys can get hurt and might be out for a couple of weeks, and it might be better just to play it safe and not get your full squad out there. But Mikey said he was gonna try. He was gonna go out, give it the old college try out there. So
Yeah.
can't blame him.
Well,
Can't blame him.
if there's one game to try and win in League's Cup, it's going to Ciudad de Mexico and playing Club America and doing it in well, what do they call it in the World Cup, Tony? Because I'm sure Banorte didn't so was it Mexico City Stadium?
Estadio, yeah.
Estadio Ciudad de Mexico.
Yep.
Yeah. Very good. So going there, you might as well put at least a little bit of a foot forward because it is a cathedral of soccer. You don't want to put an embarrassing lineup out there. The first half was pretty embarrassing for San Diego FC, but I think the thing that they just have to clean up over time, and obviously America is better than many of the teams they will play, but they did to SDFC the same thing that other clubs have done to SDFC, which is pressure the back line and generate turnovers. And right away in this match, there were turnovers from Dua, turnovers from Dos Santos, turnovers from Tverskov, the players that we're counting on to be the pillars of the defense, giving it right up to Club America. And those weren't the goals. Those were just possible goals and chances that were given up along the way. And then Rodriguez put matters into his own hand with that first goal, which is one of the best goals that we'll see scored, for or against in an STFC match all year long. I think how he cuts four guys out of the play like an indoor player. Looked like Brandon Escoto out there, Tony. Zigging and zagging and finishing left-footed. Come on. Shout out Escoto. Still taking home bags of cash in Tijuana and cash tournaments and scoring $1 million goals at TST as well. So shout out to the legend of the indoor, Brandon Escoto. But yeah, Tony, these turnovers have got to end, or else SDFC season will end at the end of the regular season.
Yeah, I think if you're starting to see, a new way to break down San Diego FC that we haven't seen before, but you mentioned it, they're essentially playing the greatest hits of how to defend against San Diego FC, and it's the opposite of the attack of what made SDFC so good. Is we've heard Invartson speak about him being that tip of the spear and how they attack. Defensively, if there's a defensive spear pointing right at Dos Santos, they don't know what to do. Like, there's just no creativity because they need to start the ball in a certain way. And it's almost like in certain shows, animes, where the team of heroes will say, "Hey, formation A," and that's the play that they roll. But they're saying it out loud for everybody to hear what formation they're going to do. So it's easier to defend. They're like, "Oh, you're just going to do this? Oh, okay." It's so predictable. So also, I mean, yes, it was a good goal, but man, it just doesn't look good when people just aren't pressing. And that play was Brian Rodriguez. He went through Thor. He also just expected to get tackled by Valakari, but Valakari just kind of trotted there. And, I think we're also seeing Altitude FC in play. They're in altitude. I have walked into that stadium, and it was tough. I cannot imagine running and playing against an elite team like America.
You're also doing so like in the rain too, and it's I don't know what I should expect from this team. And altitude, rain. Are they supposed to expected to go full speed? I understand Valakari kind of like holding up and just like, oh nope, this isn't the time to go for that tackle right now. But yeah, it was a little surprising that easily twice he got through Valakari twice in that play, and yeah, he really didn't seem like he was making some personal decisions on that play. Like, no, I don't think I'm gonna tackle this guy right here. And yeah, Rodriguez ends up scoring that or getting that goal. But yeah, it just doesn't seem like the like really it's the elements that are in play right now. And yeah, do you guys like think the formation does anything for you? Like, it's just something.
No,
it's something
nothing
new, but it's not something that we see all the time, and it feels like everybody's caught like a little bit out of position there.
I'll retract my statement. couple of things stood out to me in the first half that I thought were interesting. One was that having Morgan at center forward, he seemed to be more involved, both in the defensive press and gaining the ball, and also in creating chances. He was trying to shoot first time. He got blocked a number of times in that first half. Again, somebody watching this later, we're recording in the second half, and I was watching on this computer screen that we're using. So the match is not on right now. You can tell me something else that happened later, but I thought he did a nice job at 9. I thought it looked creative, and I could imagine a world in which you saw both Dagardin and Bombino coming forward a la the Pochettino US type formation and flowing those players up into the attack, and being really dynamic in that way. Oh yeah, we're a 5 back line, but what we really are is 3 center backs. These guys are in the attack. They're moving up and down. You could list them as midfielders. You could list them as defenders. They're going to be running box to box, the entire match. That's maybe got some promise to it. There's some thought to that, but we'll see if this is just a Leagues Cup experiment or something that they want to take into a match like LAFC on the 15th, which is the only match ahead in the next 2 weeks that means a dang thing to either of the teams playing. It was very clear to me Club America wasn't that interested in defending in the first half. They were kind of, okay, well, we'll try to make the last play that we need to make, but SDFC had some opportunities. They were in the offensive zone, and I think a lot of that was a matter of want to by Club America. Do we really want to defend in the rain for 90 minutes, or do we want to let these little scrappy guys get a few chances here and there? We'll put the keeper to the test. Don't worry, we're going to score 3 on the other side. No problem. Now they give up 1 in the second half. So, I think for these teams in this tournament, they all have a bigger prize at mind, which is each league's respective clausura right now, and getting to the top of those tables.
And I think the tough part for me was in transition. SanDiego FC really didn't do anything, and they had some really wide open opportunities with Dreyer and Lewis Morgan, and it didn't, they just couldn't finish, or they tried to pass it off, and the guy that received it kind of fumbled it. And I just want to see like a little bit more out of those transitions, and just finally get a goal off or a good shot off, and it just didn't seem like it was connecting. And again, altitude probably a factor, but yeah, nothing really good in that first half when it came to really good opportunities. It just there were, it was just like a little flat, and it's things that we've seen, but I think Pirani added a little bit more to that he was a little bit more on the offensive side and shooting the ball more. That's kind of what we expected. It was like, if you take Balakari out of that spot and put Pirani, what do you get? And you actually do get a little bit of a shooter out of it. So that, to me, I think that's a little bit of a plus for today.
Yeah, I mean, you take what you can, right, out of this, and is this team one Ashuri away from restarting this entire machine and just being that just jumpstart that they need in MLS? And whenever he's integrated into the team, he is part of the roster for Leagues Cup. But in talking with Mikey midweek, he said that, well, they're still waiting on his paperwork to be settled through. So, because my question was, hey, are we going to see him in this tournament? And he just, kind of said, well, whatever happens in a perfect world. Yes, obviously we get that paperwork done. But other than that, I don't think we're going to expect him in the next 2 weeks, maybe against LAFC. But I think that would still, I don't know, be not ideal, because you're throwing him into the biggest match. But on the other side, he is your DP, so you have to go ahead and throw him into your biggest match, right, off the gate, and see what happens from there on. And I know it's just San Diego State's just in a tough spot right now, just in a lot of different ways.
All right, last thing, and then the rest of the show will be Chucky, and we can put the timer mark. For if you just wanted to come for the Chucky talk, here's where it is. So last thing quickly from any of you, Sunday Cholos. It's the first time that you're playing Cholos where it's not a made up cup. There's actually a different made up cup that's at stake. So, do you care at all about Cholos and trying to put best foot forward at home in this match on Sunday?
It all depends on if Cholos are going to do the same, because I think what I'm looking forward to is Gilberto Mora going to play, because he was like, I think it was last year's Leagues Cup. He was the star in the last year's Leagues Cup, and played really well, got some goals in, and yeah, just from that, and then the rest of the season became a star. I think that's kind of what everybody is expecting. Can we see these two teams at their very best or close to their best? So is Mora going to be out there? Can we see a good competitive match? But if it's like, well, both teams lose, and this is how we're going to see. Oh, they actually did lose today, so against Austin FC. So
Yeah, they lost 2-0.
yeah. Oh man. So yeah, it's like I don't know. It all depends on what the other side's gonna bring. It's like, are they gonna bring their 100, 200 players? Then okay, we can do the same kinda, and just bring the younger players out and just start that match. Or can we see Mora out there? And I think that's gonna be really important.
Yeah, and I mean it's more for the culture, I guess.
Yeah.
Just the importance of a cross border rivalry. You actually have something potentially to play for, and it's bragging rights. How much that stock is going to go into that. How many Cholo fans come out? The Masacre, their supporter group. Are they going to come out in numbers? Are they going to be disruptors? Are they going to make this feel big and important? And then on the other side, will Frontera be able to answer back and be just be able to hold their ground and say, no, this is our home, and kind of do those things. And that's kind of, for me, what is the most interesting. Yeah, I mean, they've played each other a couple times in preseasons. The first preseason, the summer preseason for the World Cup, they've played each other leading up to it. So, I mean, they know each other well. So I don't want to say it's got a glorified scrimmage, but I hope it's a little bit more exciting than that. I actually won't be at this match. I'll watch it from home. But just I hope everybody has a good time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hope everybody has a good time.
Let's just all have fun, everyone.
Yeah, rainbows and sunshine. And then be safe. Yeah.
Well, as mentioned, one of the reasons you'd want to see Ashuri play is because he's one of the two designated players for San Diego FC. He used to be one of the three designated players for San Diego FC, but the thing that's needed to happen since last off season has happened. It's happened in a way that is weird, but it's happened. LA Galaxy will be the new destination of Chucky Lozano via loan from San Diego FC, with SDFC still covering a portion of his salary going forward. Okay, Chucky gone, Chucky to Galaxy. Those are the simple headlines. What are the details of this loan? What are the circumstances by which Chucky is in LA? For how long? Is he going to play against San Diego FC on August 29th? These are the questions that the simple questions the fans are asking.
Well, this is an interesting predicament because it's never happened before in MLS. No one has loaned out a designated player. So this is all new to everybody. I'm guessing everybody in the league had no idea of how to handle this. So it's new. It's something that San Diego FC is going to do, and it's going to set a precedent on how you can handle designated players. But yeah, it's a loan. It's going to probably going to be a short-term loan until the end of the season. And I'm almost exactly how we talked about it, Craig, like just a couple weeks ago when you mentioned like, hey, is Galaxy possibility? And we were like, no, because they don't have money. Well, they can cover, a designated with real dollars. They can cover that money, but not with GAM, right? So,
Right.
uh, uh, Galaxy will handle half of that. This is from Tom Bogert on his Soccer Wise podcast. He said that Galaxy is going to handle less than half of the salary that's remaining on the in 2026. And he didn't really go into this detail, but he pretty much said the salary portion of the cap is already paid down. So you're pretty much giving Chucky away on for the cap at minimum, right? Because Galaxy just don't have this type of money, and this is probably the reason why all these fans are really upset about it, because it's like, well, couldn't you just get somebody else? Well, that comes with a huge budget charge, and that's something that they can't do. But well, this is new. This is a new detail. It's a loan. How do we feel about loaning out Chucky to Galaxy? I feel like it's no different than releasing Chucky and then giving, him signing with Galaxy, because it kind of seemed like Galaxy was always going to be the move. Like from the beginning, I think I mentioned this. Like Chucky was going to get released or somehow figure out a way to go to Galaxy, because Galaxy has always wanted him since a couple of years ago. So it's the move, and it's going to be interesting. And yes, Craig, he can play in August against SanDiego FC. Those rules do not apply like they do in Europe. He will play anytime they face off against SanDiego FC.
So, with that, though, Alex, you said that it almost would be the same as might as well have bought him out and
Yeah.
send him his way, right? Yes, except for the fact that with this move of a loan, San Diego FC can not use that DP slot. So you're still technically a 3 DP team, but now you're loaning him out for somebody to use against you. And I think you were talking about it a couple weeks ago, Craig, too, about like, hey, you're announcing a Shuri on a motorcycle, just San Diego lore and sports. I think San Diego FC may learn this pipeline from San Diego to LA for any sort of player. And unfortunately, this is not necessarily the best situation for San Diego FC, because you just have an inspired player on the other side. Like, you just have an inspired player on the other side that's going to give everything to go ahead and play once again at Snapdragon, this time against you. And you still have to carry the burden of him because you are still locked. There's no De Bruyne talk. There's no Salah talk. You cannot get another DP because your third DP is still Chucky Lozano. So that's where I'm just like, did they not know this? Is this so unprecedented that even Tyler Heaps didn't know that if he loaned him out, he thought, oh, yes, this clears some space. Now I can bring somebody in.
It doesn't.
No, it does not. And yeah, there's an option for them to buy, but you're going to see Chucky either thrive or not, but you're still not going to want him back. He's still a San Diego FC player. He's still technically an SDFC player at the end of the day.
Okay, well, with that little wrinkle, Tony, it really, I don't know. It at least is weight on the scale of my opinion. I don't know if it completely changes the balance, but it's weight on the scale of my opinion, because even if Chucky is really underwhelming in Los Angeles, unless they have their next DP lined up that they want to clear the space, they can kind of hold San Diego FC's third DP slot hostage for multiple seasons through 2028 and keep SDFC from adding another DP, because he's busy in this dream scenario for the Galaxy starring for Los Angeles, right? But if he's not even starring, if he's just kind of whatever, even if they're not really using him. It's just money to prevent a conference rival and a California rival from having one of their slots. I don't think that'd be enough to make the Galaxy pay extra millions of dollars next year, but it's still not nothing. And that's super annoying.
Well, I mean, in that scenario, Craig, like they would have to renew the loan and really take, San Diego hostage with this situation. But it's weird because you kind of want Chucky to thrive and do well, and it's like, yeah, look at him. He's scoring goals for you. How about you buy him? Buy him from
Right.
us so he could be a permanent player. Because this is also like a showcase for him too, so Tyler Heaps can be like, yeah, look how he's doing it with the Galaxy. Oh, you know, overseas club, you want him? All right, well, here's the deal. Get him out of here, and we'll take him for 5 million or whatever they want. But yeah, that it
Just
kind of seems
Alex,
like,
as you're saying that,
yeah.
the people that are listening to it thinking back, well, wait, if SDFC wants him to be successful and score goals in order to, he could be doing that for San Diego FC. He could be doing that for the team that's paying him instead of paying him to do it against his club and for a team that's trying to go over his club in the exact conference standings table. It's really, I mean, I think SDFC needs to buy him out. A loan, okay, cool, but they need to buy him out and end situations like this and just end the relationship. It's real money that the Galaxy get to use, as you said, not Gamma Tim. It's real money for San Diego FC if they just spend the money to buy him out. Because honestly, let's just say he does play well for LA, right? What is LA's? Doesn't LA have the leverage still in the interim between the next two seasons before the sprint season? It's not like San Diego FC can go, well, now we're going to drop the hammer on you because he's played well. They'll be like, oh, well, no, you can have him back to rot on your side field. You're going to want to get him off of your roster again, and you're going to want to come back to the one team that's shown the willingness to play him and the one team he wants to play for. So, if you want to play this game, Tyler, we can wait it out. We can wait it out we can wait out the whole sprint season if you want, but you're going to want him off the roster again, and we'll be there waiting for you when you're ready. It's obnoxious.
Yeah, and that's the reason why San Diego can't have a third designated player right now. It's that fear that things go wrong with LA Galaxy, and he has to come back on the roster. And then now you're stuck with four. You're stuck with four guys, and then you're kind of forced to make that decision. You really are. But it's happened before in sports. It happens all the time when the rival team doesn't want the player, right? We saw it with Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp is a great example because the Dodgers didn't want him, got traded over to the Padres. The Padres got stuck with him,
and he lost his love of baseball here.
Oh my, yeah, it's a very similar situation. Like he also did not like being here, but no one liked him being here.
Yeah,
and
still bought a house in North County.
Still
he hated being here so much.
Yeah,
so he bought a house in North County.
It happens all the time. But you got, I think for Heaps, I think he's under the direction of you have to get something for this guy. And I think that's coming from ownership of, Mansour. Someone is just saying like, you got to get something for me here, because they would have done this a long time. If because it's not our money. It's easy for us to say like, just buy him out. Someone's pressing that button of like, okay, Heaps, you're locked in. Got your extension. Vara's got his extension. You guys have to figure this out. You guys have to, put your thinking caps on and get this guy out, but also make some money out of it. And
yeah, fix that's what's happening. Clean up my mistake, essentially. Like clean up my mess that I created. And
exactly.
But the thing is that I still don't see how this is a move outside of just pure pettiness and just I don't want you to play here. I hate you so
Mhm.
much. I can't stand your presence. I can't stand that you're using our facilities. Get out. Because what are they going to do with the money that LA Galaxy is paying off from Chuki's contract? What are they going to do with that segment of money? Is that going to change your season with whatever it is that you're saving with your net positive, which isn't a positive, still a negative because you're still paying him. But what are you going to do with that chunk of money? Is that really season changing? I
They're
don't
going
think
to
so.
save it.
Let me go over some numbers real quick with it was like Murphy, Pirani, who else did we get? Murphy, Pirani,
For
Achuri,
sure.
and just those three, right? Let's just say Achuri's transfer fee was 3 million,
Oh,
and then
Thorhalson.
Thorhalson, that was the other one. Achuri's transfer fee was 3 million plus. Let's just say he's making around Dryer's money, so that's my for this year. It's probably like around another 3.5. You're already spending like 6.5 on Achuri plus an additional 2 million on those other three that you brought in through MLS trades and their salaries, taking on their salary. So you already spent $8 million, give or take, 8.5. And so what this 2 million that you're getting from Chugi is like, yeah, some sort of like subtraction from that, like, some cost savings. Like I agree with Tony. Like you should be investing in someone to help your team here because that was already a cost like in the books. That was already earmarked. That was gonna yeah, you were already gonna like have them sit on the roster forever. Like why not do something with those that savings? Like you already spent all this money, just add another player. But
And
the,
you're making moves. Other players are leaving, right? This
Mhm.
one, Anis Saidi going to Benfica on a loan, and then via the hottest transfer, uh, source, the Instagram stories of Juan Andres Reyes. He is now on his way out, as he says, "Bye bye, San Diego." He's on the airport. Bye, good riddance. See ya. So okay, now you're piling up, you're going into the piggy bank, you're scrapping, you're counting your coins that you're getting from these players, but is that enough to fix and salvage the season to go ahead and not just make them a competitor, but make them into a playoff team and hopefully win a game or two or three or even the initial series? Like that's the hope as I'm, still watching this America game right here in the corner of my eye. There's not a lot of difference between Leagues Cup performance and MLS performance for San Diego FC. They're just not. And America stopped trying in the first half. They just said, "This is done. We're good."
Mhm.
But something has to go ahead and change because what's the excuse now? Hey, we traveled and we played in Leagues Cup. They already said it. We were the only team to travel into Mexico, one of four. And so what? Like, is that just your excuse moving forward too? We played and we have this hangover from Leagues Cup. Sorry, that's why we didn't do well
Right.
in Liga and
Mhm.
in MLS. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of question marks, and I think they get the season though. I still think that they get the season because last season wasn't supposed to happen. Last season they weren't supposed to be that good. It just wasn't supposed to be that way. They surprised people, and now they're having the season that they're supposed to have off the gate. This is an expansion team that we're seeing here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I want them to have a performance like this in Leagues Cup so they don't chase the ghost over the next week and then create the excuse for the hangover that Tony just described. Because yes, that did happen for Champions Cup, but it's supposed to. You're a young team, it's early in the season. They went for it. They tried. They beat Pumas. That's going to be one of the highlights of this year, no matter what. They beat Toluca at home, down at 1.2 men. That's going to be one of the highlights of this year, no matter what. But going up and getting destroyed in Toluca to end that run sent them in a spiral that they self-described through the first half. This tournament can't do that, or else this season is doomed. So having taken one on the chin here I hope that's enough for them to go, all right, Sunday, Dryer play a half. The fans have come out. Dua play a half, whatever. But like that, everyone young needs to be out there for the entire second half. The entire starting team has to be down. And that same lineup, pardon me, needs to take the field on the 12th. Whatever the guys want in terms of, I want 15 minutes of run or whatever, okay. But other than that, all the legs need to be saved for Los Angeles. Anything else is really mismanagement. And I understand that we don't have the roster to make this easy. I get it. We don't. But you've got to do what you can do, even if that means really looking bad in 3-0 or 4-0 fashion because you don't have your attack out there. Like what I feel like even in the second year, SDFC fans should understand. We can't kill the season in search of this little BS cup that's been literally invented by the two leagues for marketing and television.
But it's a trophy. That's what I kept hearing.
Sure. The trophy that you're not going to get. I mean, the game just ended 3-1. All right. Sure.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'll talk to Mikey about us after. Hey, what are your thoughts about this formation that you started with? What was the game plan for that? And is it the altitude, man? Like, that's just the thing? Like, just because even at sea level, you aren't playing that well. But it is what it is for San Diego FC. But I think the majority of people going back to just kind of this transfer window and the way that the Lozano situation has kind of transpired is, I think everybody's just tired of it and just wants something to happen. And whether or not it's going to be, Chucky coming in and changing LA Galaxy and everybody going like, see, or nothing, or anything in there in between. If you focus on who's here for San Diego FC, there's clearly things that need to be addressed. There is a team that needs to kind of get its bearings back and really show what something of an improvement, which that's a thing that I haven't seen so much of. It's just an improvement on the things that they've been lacking. They've been trying to go back and emphasize their style of play, but not necessarily address the things that are hurting them to begin with. And is this team, like I said, one Ashuri away? Let's say there's Honor Dryer. You just clone him and put him on the left side. Is that enough to bring SDFC back from its current position, back from 13th place in the West right now? That's the best case scenario, right? Right now, that's what everybody's hoping for.
Yeah, and that's the best thing we can hope for. And it's something that Matt Doyle kind of brought up over the weekend is they're inviting, of the press. It used to mean something like last year, and now it just feels like it doesn't. And it doesn't feel like they're changing anything. They're not going more direct or anything. They're still trying to invite the press, and everybody's like backing off. Like, yeah, we've seen this already. You just keep doing your little passes in the back, and then we'll try to like mid block you guys. But there needs to be a little bit of change there, and hopefully that virus can change it. Or maybe it's just a player, maybe it's a personnel thing that maybe seeing Pirani and Achuri out there, and we'll finally see it. So I don't know. Here's the thing: it's the second year of this. We saw the first year where it was all good. Now we're seeing the bumps in the road, and now we got to see the adaptability of this whole thing. And I think that's what we have to see here in the second half.
And just to underline that further, right? When you're a fully developed club, you can have some guys who have big seasons for you, and you can make the decision that, that was a nice season. We're not going to commit to you, for anything more than, year to year or whatever. We can invite you to camp. But when you're San Diego FC and you go first in the Western Conference in your first year, you've got to lock up most of that team to be able to just continue business, because otherwise you got to go pay to replace them, et cetera, et cetera. So as a result, like, hey, that last year's midfield of Tversky, Falakari, and Godoy Like, well, we've got to lock that down. Well, hey, last year was last year. This year is this year. This year's version of that midfield has not been impressive. Tverskov has definitely had a major step back year in terms of his overall performance. Godoy focused on the World Cup. Bless him, understand it. He's turned into more of a role player for this team now. These guys might have lost a step. Valakari, is Valakari. He's one of those players. Like, he'll out of nowhere have a 2-goal game and the rest of the time almost score, or miss a play, miss a pass, miss a thing along the way that's just frustrating to you. So, not to say that any of them couldn't come back and be a lot better in the second half of the season. The club needs those guys to come back and be better in the second half of the season for them to get into the playoffs and get closer to where they want to be. But I just think, instead of, like, if you were clipping this and like, oh, Craig ripping the midfield, it's more of you wind up in this league, in this situation, as a second-year team. You're forced to ride with guys that other more mature clubs might have allowed for one good year and then just moved along.
Yep. And the things that I want to see out of this club really is, can they come from behind? Can they win, when they're down? Can they win late? That's what we haven't seen all year. And we still haven't seen it. We almost saw it at Minnesota, or yeah, and at the live watch party. That was great. But those almost need to turn into something. Like, it needs to happen, and I really want to see it because I feel like that. Just like I told you, Craig, how I feel about the Padres and what I want to see, like, in these next couple of weeks. It's almost like the same thing when it comes to SanDiego. Like, I want to see those things, because then I'll feel way more confident about this team moving forward. And even if you want to be like a 500 team moving forward and sneak into the playoffs, like, I also want to know that you can, progress and beat those teams that are ahead of you. We saw it with FC Dallas, but we got to see a little bit more consistency, like, moving ahead.
And like, what are those things that they need to improve, right? We keep saying, well, they need to do better here, there, but they just are in a state mentally where I think they're just overthinking things, and the style doesn't lend itself to think too much. Last year, whenever they played so well, the body just responded to the pass. It was in concert. Everything was in harmony, and everybody was gelling and flowing, right? This time around, everybody seems to be overthinking the next step. Should they trap the ball? Should they turn? Should they be passing at first time? And in that thought, they just don't shoot, or nothing happens. And that's what they really just kind of need to get themselves out of that groove in, and they just need to get themselves out of their own way. A lot of the times where you're watching games, it's passes that lead to nothing, where usually somebody's pressing hard or coming in and asking for the ball, or somebody's coming in and getting the ball back. And yeah, sure, you got bounces that go the wrong way for you, but you're still able to be there. But for some reason, this team just isn't getting these lucky bounces. They aren't necessarily getting themselves into the situations, and they just don't seem to be as fit as they were last year. And a lot of it has to go ahead and do with the restart, however you want to see it, the depth in the team. But ultimately, if they can just get out of their own way, that's one of the things that, if they can do that, they automatically start scoring a couple more goals. And that's what the margins have been sometimes too. It's just those one goals in important moments, and either the other team just kind of goes back, or they just, you just have a hard time coming back to win a match.
And last year, they had a natural center of gravity on the pitch in their first ever designated player. The guy signed by ownership before Tyler Heaps or Mikey Varas signed their contracts. Chucky Lozano had his. And because of that, Dreyer had someone to play off of and run off of. And everyone had a role that they could understand, because you had this guy that was pushing it, and he was pushing it until he wasn't. And then he disappeared. And I think there's a level of in a weird way, bravery of Heaps and Varus to do this way, just kind of wrapping it up and giving you kind of my final thoughts on that. There's a bravery to it because they've set themselves up for maximum egg on face. If Lozano scores against SDFC on the 29th, that's everything, for Chucky and against SDFC. Whether he scores again for Galaxy, that's Galaxy's problem, right? Like Galaxy will have to deal with him all the other matches. But the theory of the case as presented by Heaps and Varus now is we would never have signed this guy if it was up to us. This guy was given to us, and we found out you can't win with him. You can't win with him, can't play with him. Don't think I'm right? Look at the playoffs last year. We won without him. Okay. Playoffs are crapshoot, end of year. It's really flimsy logic, but this idea that you can't play with him, you can't win with him, if he starts beating you, that really hurts the theory of the case. It makes the theory of the case like, wait, okay, that wasn't the case. Lozano would make your team better. Why then are you letting him beat you if he could make your team better? What's the personal issue? What is it? Why is it? It makes Heaps and Varus look so much worse. So that's why in a weird kind of bizarre way, I want to give them credit and say this is a brave move, because if this move isn't made, if they just let him rot on the side field, there's nothing else to really say.
Yeah, and it goes like back to
Martín.
Everything we
1, 2,
know.
3.
Whoa.
Ok, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh. Anyway,
was that you?
I was queuing up the post-match press conference at the same time.
Okay. Oh, got it.
We started talking.
Anyway, yeah, it goes back to like the right to dream and their system and seeing how players fit, right? And it's I think we all get a little feedback from it that we're in favor of the club, but I think we're just reading like the terms and conditions of what this ownership is bringing. It's like they want to bring a system, not just a play style, but it's like a full thing, full of younger players that they want to develop. And what they're saying, from the very start was like this guy's not going to be a role model for those players, so we can't have him in the building. Like we don't want him in the building. We need him to go away. So I mean, it just kind of all goes back to that, and it just I'm not really apologetic when I first said it. It's like it's gonna be a hard team to follow if you think that big players are gonna be coming here and big names, right? Like even LA Galaxy thought that they thought they were gonna get Casemiro, and they're getting Chucky Lozano, and they're not happy about that at all. Like most of the fan base feedback has been not in favor of getting Lozano. They thought they were getting bigger names, people coming in, and they're like, ownership did not want to spend money this time around. Maybe next year, maybe when they finally figure out the salary cap stuff, right? The rules and conditions. But it's gonna be all about this right to dream style, getting people that fit the play style, and also can be kind of a guidance for the next generations to come. And I think that's just how it goes.
Don't expect a championship anytime soon. If that's, again, just kind of how it's going to be. Maybe that's what's going to make it sweeter when San Diego FC does win a championship. The fact that they did it and stuck to their guns and did it with their academy, with homegrown players. And that's the ultimate prize, right? The reality is that it's still an experiment. This is probably one of the greatest soccer experiments in America, American professional soccer. How is an academy here where they can also scout into Mexico going to develop for the future, not just of San Diego FC, but of MLS and the future of soccer here to begin with as well. So it's interesting how they're going to then also, we talked about it last week, just going into MLS 3.0 as well, but they're still in MLS 2.0, and in MLS 2.0 they're in 13th place in MLS in the Western Division. So that's the ground where you're standing on, and so how you're going to move forward is going to be very telling of this team, at least for this season, and their convictions, as they would say, to go ahead and move forward. And we'll see what that's gonna look like in terms of how happy and satisfied they're gonna be if they keep playing this way.
And
Well-
just to add one more thing with what Tony said, yeah, I think their goal is, we just talked about Gilberto Mora, is about getting someone from Tijuana coming over to the Right to Dream system and becoming
Getting
that
Mora for them.
Gilberto
Yeah.
Mora,
Yeah.
getting that next Gilberto Mora in the system and playing for San Diego FC.
Mas Mora.
Mas
Is the
Mora.
idea.
Yes.
Mas Mora. Well, with that, if you want to check out, you're already here on SanDiego.Futbol on YouTube. If you want to check out all the post-match reaction from Ciudad de Mexico and from Mikey Vargas, you can check that out there. Please subscribe to SanDiego.Futbol and to Chromaniacs. Please follow us on Instagram if you have Instagram at the Chromaniacs. And if you're listening to us on podcast and can offer a 5-star rating or a kind written review, all of those things will help out folks to find our show and therefore help us out in continuing to spread the word of the Chromaniacs. Anything else, Tony?
Well, that's going to be it. San Diego FC. I'm going to jump into this post-match press conference. I'm going to throw that up to see how the reaction of everybody is after this 3-1 defeat against America. And check everything out. SanDiego.Futbol. Alex.
I'll have something up on San Diego FC maybe after Tijuana. Not tonight. Tonight was bad. But yeah, check out chromaticfc.com and you can follow me on Chromatic FC SD on Instagram. And you, Craig.
Well, we'll be switching backdrops here as soon as we're done recording this one, because as we record, the Padres are 2 outs from a big win in Arizona, and patrons of Padres Hot Tub will be enjoying a Padres Hot Tub postgame show with the hosts, and you can be a part of those live postgame shows that we do after Padres wins by going to patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub. It's just $7 a month to become a full-fledged member of our Discord, of our live shows, ticket marketplace, getting free tickets along the way, all of that stuff at patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub. And you can follow me on Instagram at 619 Sports and Life if you want to see pictures of a boy starting his sophomore year in high school and not wanting to have his picture taken, but still reluctantly agreeing to have his picture taken. You can get that type of content at 619 Sports and Life. That's it for season 2, episode 20 of the Chromaniacs. For Tony Sanchez and Alex Pena, I'm Craig Elston. Until next time, vamos, SDFC.